Hi ladies, welcome back to another video. If you are joining us for the first time, you are very welcome here. My name is Nosa. So today's video is a story time. I want to share with you guys about my almost C-section experience. That time I was pregnant and I thought I was going to have a vaginal delivery, but somehow I was told I was going to have a C-section. So what happened? How did I ended up avoiding the C-section? What happened in the labor room? That is everything I'll be talking about today. Okay, so I have actually shared this story time before on my channel like a very long time ago, but that video is no longer available, hence why I am making another one. And I know that this is a perfect time because a lot of you women watching me right now are women trying to conceive or currently pregnant. So I think this is a video that can help you prepare for labor and delivery, especially if you have any fear of having a C-section or just getting into labor and bringing your baby into this world. So this is a video that should help you have some confidence and just know how to prepare. Okay, all right, so this was my second pregnancy. It was a baby girl, which we were all very excited about. We already had a boy, so the second pregnancy was a girl. We're expecting our baby girl in spring of that year. The pregnancy was very smooth. Okay, it was an easy pregnancy. The morning sickness was not very bad. It was manageable compared to my last pregnancy. I had my energy levels. I was able to do things. I could eat very well. Everything, like, it was a very easy pregnancy from first to third trimester. So by the time we got to the end of the pregnancy, like the 40th week, I was expecting to go into labor naturally. With my first pregnancy, I went into labor naturally. I was not induced and I had my baby. Everything was smooth. So I was expecting the same thing with my daughter. I was also expecting to have a vaginal delivery like my first. So my due date came and passed and this baby girl was not coming out. So by this time I was going for regular checkup. When you get to the end of your pregnancy, like 41 weeks, you start going in for regular checkup, like almost every other day. So I went in for one of those regular checkups like 4 days after my due date, and they checked my heart rate, checked the baby's heart rate, and then they sent me into a room to lie down, and they had all these monitors around my tummy. They were monitoring the baby's heart rate. So I could hear from the machine or from the monitor that my baby's heart rate was not stable. It was not consistent. It would go down low to like a point where it almost stopped completely, and then it would start picking up back up again, like very slowly and faintly. So this continued for a while. The nurses would come in, they would make me turn to my left and to my right side. They were trying to see if the baby's heart rate would pick up, but nothing changed. So after a while, the doctor and all the nurses came in and they looked very concerned. And the doctor, they removed all the strap, everything from me. And the doctor said, I have already called the labor and delivery ward. You're going to go in there now for an emergency C-section. You have to get this baby out of you immediately. And it's funny, at that point, I don't think I grasped, the urgency of what the doctor was talking about, because like I was not thinking about a C-section. It was not in a plan. So when the doctor said that, I was like, really? No, it can't be that bad. So I walked into the labor ward and I saw a set of nurses. There were about 6 or 7 nurses, and you needed to see the urgency in their faces. Like, they saw me walking in and I was just walking like catwalking. Actually, I was taking my time to just walk in. I wasn't feeling any pressure. And when I got in, the way they were trying to explain to me that the doctor sounded very urgent on the phone, and it was a matter of urgency. The baby's heart rate was going down, and I, the mom, was walking like, nah, C-section is not in the plan. I'm not thinking about it and I'm not having it. I mean, I didn't say that to them, but with my attitude, you could tell. My husband came in, he was sweating. You could see that he was very anxious, and the nurses were explaining to him. And then he was trying to explain to me, like, this is going to end up being a C-section for the safety of the baby. So, what do we need to do? How do we prepare, And I was like, what is everybody talking about? Who is having a C-section? There was no C-section in the plan. I had a vaginal delivery with my first, and I'm going to have a vaginal delivery right now, right here. That is the only thing I know. Like, C-section where, how, who? Okay, so now let me talk about myself a little bit more. So I grew up in an environment where I didn't have a lot of knowledge about labor and delivery. I mean, as a young girl growing up, that was not something I should be concerned about. Another thing was the fear. There was also this fear around having a C-section because of the fatality, the rate of fatality that it had in my background. Okay, so there were stories of fatalities both for the mother and the baby, and that was very, very scary. And then there was this stigma. There is still the stigma even here in the country where I live. There is this stigma that's attached to women that had their babies through a cesarean section. You are considered to be weak, to be, there are some very extreme people that consider them as not even women. Like, you are not a woman if you have not gone through the ring of fire, you have not died, gone to heaven and hell and come back to earth just to bring your baby into this world. So you are not considered a woman, or you're a weak woman. So that stigma was there. I was thinking about all of these things, and of course I was very ignorant about what a C-section was. I had never had anybody really close to me who had experienced a C-section. None of my sisters had it. My mom did not have it. So, and I watched a lot of videos to prepare for labor and delivery, but I was only watching vaginal delivery. I had no idea about a C-section. Even though I was working with professionals, I mean, the people handling me, the nurses and the doctors, they were experts, professional, experienced, but I was just like, because of XYZ, I don't want to do this. I was very ignorant about it and playing a risky game. Now, the nurses did not immediately shove me into the theater, to get this, for the delivery. They first wanted to try a vaginal delivery. So I was hooked up with IV fluids, and, they were still monitoring the baby's heart rate. And, we were in a room before I was going to be moved to the theater. One thing I love about this country is that nobody pushes anything on you. They will always respect your decisions, your opinions, your requests, but if things are getting out of hand, if it's getting to that point where you and your baby's life is at risk, then the doctors, the nurses are going to do everything to save you and your baby, to save you from yourself. So I was there on the bed, in pain, in a lot of pain because of they induced the labor. They were trying to see if they could get the baby out naturally or vaginally. So they induced the labor, and it was so painful. But I was there still telling my husband and everybody, nope, I'm not having a C-section. Now, while we were there, they instructed me to not eat or drink anything in case I was going to end up having a C-section. Okay, there's this little part that I left out. So as the pregnant woman, as the mother of the baby in my tummy, I kind of know my baby, okay? If you have ever been pregnant, you can tell, you can describe the character of a baby in your tummy even before seeing them. My baby girl was very active. She was a very active girl, and she's still very active till today. Now, when I was pregnant with her, every time I had not eaten, every time my tummy was empty, she would just be like tired and lying down there. She would be like inactive. And once I eat, even if it's just water, once I put something in my mouth, she will just become very active. So during this doctor's visit, or during this whole hospital experience, I had not eaten. And I was telling myself, I think this baby is just sleeping or just very quiet in there because I had not eaten. So in my mind, I was telling myself, I need to eat something. I think if I eat, I think it will change the game. It will change everything here. So by this time, I was already in a lot of pain. I was crying and moaning and groaning and just looking forward to having my baby already. And of course, very hungry and very weak. So my husband was eating some crackers right there in the room, and he was like, do you want some? I knew I was not supposed to eat anything, but I was like, I need to have some energy. So I took one cracker from him and ate it. I had this 5 minutes break where there was no nurse in the room, and it was just me and my husband. My husband was eating that crackers, and he was like, you want one? I was like, yeah. So he gave me that one. This is very risky, very dangerous. If you are going to have a C-section and you have been told to not eat anything, please do not eat anything, okay? So I took that one cracker from him, ate it. I actually took two. I ate 2 crackers, and once I did, it was like, I don't even know, it was like a miracle. Like immediately we could see the heart rate started picking up. And then I told my husband, give me more crackers. And this time he gave me like 4, and I ate those 4 crackers at a time. I just put the whole thing in my mouth, ate it. The heart rate just picked up from that number, whatever it was, to where it should be, and even higher. Like, it was just, everything became perfect. It was a perfect scenario to have a vaginal delivery. The way the nurses ran into the room, all of them all the nurses, including the theater nurses, because they were all watching it in their monitors. The way they rushed into the room, were like, oh my God, how did this happen? How did this happen? Now, of course, I didn't tell anybody I ate some crackers. Like, how can I even say that? And they were like, oh my God, okay, everything is now stabilized. We cannot increase your Pitocin, you know, the medication to induce labor. So they increased the dosage, and you know, everything just started going very smooth. Look, I got to the hospital probably around 9 a.m. So by 2 p.m. my baby's heart rate had stabilized. Now there was another issue with me again. So with my first pregnancy, I had an epidural. Epidural is the medication that helps to ease the labor pains. So with my second delivery, I was reluctant to get the epidural. I was like, nope, this time I want to do it natural. I want to go through that pain. Is it normal for somebody to just want to go through pain? Honestly. And the reason for this again was because of, I was hearing a lot of things. I was watching videos and I could see people comparing both, that women who are taking medications to have their baby are not strong enough. They are not women enough. You need to go through that pain. You need to experience the ring of fire. So it was just like, you know, the stigma on having a C-section. So I was hearing a lot of, you know, women saying things like that, and I was like, nope, I don't want to be that weak woman. I want to go through the fire, the pain, you know, and you know, to have my baby so that I can be a strong woman. And this whole time my husband was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, your last labor and delivery was very smooth and easy. You got into labor naturally, you got the epidural, and you had your baby, you know, like in no time. So why are we doing this? Like, we have already seen enough drama for today. We have already gone through enough for today. Let's just have this baby. And I was like, you are not the one who's going to deal with not being a strong woman. I am the one. I want to prove to myself that I am strong. So after a long day, it was now finally night time, like 8 p.m. And all the morning and afternoon nurses had gone. We had a different set of nurses for night time. So there was this one nurse that was talking to my husband. She was also a mom, and my husband was just telling her that, yeah, we wanted to do this naturally, okay? My wife does not want to get any medication. She wants to do this naturally, so we're probably going to be here for a long time. And she was, you know, she looked at me. You guys, I was just not looking good. I had been in pain all day, and you know that induction, when you get induced, it is very painful. The nurse was telling my husband that, you know, she had to get the epidural all 3 times for her babies. This was a nurse. Okay, this was a nurse. She was telling my husband that she couldn't endure the pain. She got the epidural, got her babies out, and you know, it was very quick and everything. They were not talking to me because I was in a lot of pain. My eyes were closed. But once I heard the nurse say that to my husband, I think that was the last straw. I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to get the epidural now. This is nothing close to my last labor and delivery, which was smooth and easy, and I have a healthy baby. Why am I doing this to myself? Who gives the award for strong woman? Like, where is this award coming from? Who? Yeah, I was just done. Okay, so at that point they called in the anesthesiologist, and I got the epidural. So I got the epidural, and my labor progressed very quickly. Like, I just started dilating very quickly, and in the next couple of hours, like 2 hours time, my beautiful baby girl was born. But there was also something that happened after she was born. Now, because of all the long hours of just, you know, going through this and that, when my baby girl came out, she was like almost lifeless. I mean, she was alive, she was breathing, but she was so weak, you know, she didn't make any sound. She did not move, you know, like babies would move, like squirming and all of that. And I was expecting for the nurses to give her to me, because once you have your baby, once that baby comes out from you, the first thing they do is to wrap the baby up and put the baby on you. You have to, you know, it's just a thing. That first connection is very important. So I was expecting for my baby girl to be placed on my chest, but nope. My baby girl was taken to a side table, okay, and all the nurses just went there. Some other nurses were taking care of me. And at that point I realized, you know, everything is not okay, but they were telling me it's fine, it's okay. So the nurses kept doing everything. My husband was right there with them, you know, they were moving her, tickling her, doing all sort of things. And after about a minute or two, she finally made a sound like, you know, and all the nurses were like, yeah, okay, you know, and everybody was rest assured that, yeah, everything was fine. Of course they continue to monitor her heart rate and all of that. But in that moment, okay, that was the first time after my baby was born and just seeing what the nurses were doing, that was the first time I experienced any kind of fear in my heart. This whole time I was thinking, oh, it's okay, it's normal, I'm the woman carrying this baby, everything is fine. But once I saw what happened after she came out of me, I was engulfed in fear, okay? And I realized that my ignorance almost cost me my beautiful baby girl's life. My ignorance almost cost me to lose a life, and that is something I don't think I would have ever recovered from. I did a lot of things that were very risky, very ignorant, very foolish, and it could have turned out any other way. So that was, that whole birth experience for my daughter opened my eyes to realize that as a pregnant woman, you need to gather all the information, knowledge available to you out there. If you are looking forward to having a vaginal delivery, yes, that is fine. That is what you want. That is, that is the best thing that every pregnant woman wants. But it is okay for you to also find out about the other options out there. Just have the knowledge, know about it. What happens during labor and delivery? How does it go? How long does it take, for this surgery to be done? How soon can I recover? How do I prepare myself? Those are some things that you want to be, equip yourself with. Now, with my third pregnancy, oh my God, from the beginning, I started reading about C-section delivery. I started watching videos, just preparing myself. I was preparing like I was going to have a C-section. So if my doctor was going to recommend me having a C-section, then I will walk into that room with confidence, with knowledge, not with ignorance and fear and anxiety. Unfortunately for me, I ended up having a vaginal delivery, just like my first and my second. The stigma attached to having a baby through a C-section or getting medications like an epidural, it comes from a place of ignorance, and it is also meant to hurt women. These arguments are meant to demean women, to make them feel less of themselves, to make you feel like you didn't do enough to be called a woman. Being a strong woman or a real woman, it's not defined by how you brought your baby into this world. That is not what it is. By the way, what is strength? What does it mean to be a strong woman or a real woman? What does all that mean? So being a mom, there's so much more to being a woman than just having a baby, getting pregnant and bringing the baby into this world. There is so much more. Some women go through a lot. Some women go through postpartum depression after having a baby, which is something a lot of women are also not talking about because of the stigma attached to that. So there is so much more to being a woman, and the pain of labor and delivery is not enough. It's not enough to define womanhood and motherhood. It's just a little part of it. So in my next video, I'm going to share some tips to prepare for a C-section delivery. I made this video just for you to know the risk of being ignorant, and what you can do to help have a healthy delivery and enjoy your baby. So yeah, that will be it for today's video. If you are currently pregnant, and I wish you a smooth delivery. I pray that everything will go well, work according to your plans or your desire. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this one helpful, then of course give it a thumbs up and drop your comment down below. I want to have a conversation with you guys in the comment section. Let me know if you have ever had a C-section delivery. How did it go? How was your experience? Please share with us so that other women can learn and get some confidence while they are going into the labor room. And subscribe to my channel if this was helpful to you. I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one.